In 1950, the United Nations established the refugee agency UNHCR to care for people who had fled their homes because they feared they would be persecuted if they stayed. Since then, UNHCR, based here in Geneva, has used government donations to help millions of refugees. While that's never an easy task, UNHCR spokesman Ron Redmond says the global financial crisis is making the job harder.
We're extremely concerned about the state of the world economy, high prices of food, high prices of fuel. All of these things affect the poorest of the poor the hardest. It also generates a lot of animosity, competition for resources, and can, of course, lead to conflict. And that's something that we're extremely concerned about. We've already got 32 million people of concern to this agency around the world, refugees, people who are displaced inside their own countries. It's an enormous number of people, and we fear that the turmoil, the chaos, the uncertainty that this economic crisis could generate is going to lead to even more displacement.
Which places are you most concerned about?
Well, we're already seeing fairly substantial movements of both migrants and refugees coming out of sub-Saharan Africa, moving north, also from Central Asia, Afghanistan, which was rebuilding and was stabilizing over the past several years, once one of our biggest producers of refugees, is now once again seeing large numbers of people leaving, not only because of instability, but also because of the economic difficulties in Afghanistan. We fear that in a situation like Afghanistan, governments are not going to give them the sustained help that they need to rebuild. We've taken about 3.5 million people back to Afghanistan since 2003, but these people can't stay home if there's nothing to support them. No jobs, no infrastructure, no clinics, no schools for their children.
There's a whole category of people who, for the same reasons as refugees, have left their homes, but are still within their home country. Are they afforded the same rights as refugees?
There's no international instrument like the 1951 Geneva Convention for refugees. That doesn't exist for internally displaced people, although the United Nations does have guiding principles for the treatment of internally displaced people. And in recent decades, this has become an enormous problem. There are now far more internally displaced people in the world than there are refugees. Our estimate is that about 26 million internally displaced people, which is approximately twice as many as refugees.
Do you think international law should be amended so that these people are treated equally as refugees?
These people basically are falling through the cracks, and if you think about it, the problems that they face are no different than refugees. They're in the same type of dire situation that a refugee faces. They fled their homes, often with nothing but the clothes on their backs. They've lost everything, and they need help. So really it's kind of an artificial distinction, and I think the UN recognizes that they need help.
What are UNHCR's top priorities for the foreseeable future?
You've got refugees living in camps for years on end in forgotten crises, these protracted refugee situations that go on for decades. The world forgets about these people. They're still out there living in refugee camps year after year after year, and it becomes very difficult for us to keep begging governments to provide the funds so that we can give these people the care and maintenance that they need. So in this difficult economic times, we need to be able also to maintain the interest of donors so that we can care for these people.